Matt Eber-flustered. That is what he was at the podium on Monday. And quite frankly, I think during most of his time as the Bears head coach. Welcome to Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. He got absolutely peppered at his Monday presser after yet another debacle against the Lions in Detroit on Sunday. And quite frankly, he had some brutal answers to a lot of these questions. So we're going to dive into it, and I'm just going to kind of outline just more evidence why he cannot be the head coach moving forward. He shouldn't be at this current standpoint, but that's neither here nor there. Before we do that, join the Noti gang here at Chicago Bears Now. What does that mean? That's the club where you have notifications turned on. Out of our almost 80,000 subscribers, only I think it's 12, 15,000 of you have notifications turned on. So what you have to do is, A, subscribe if you haven't already. You can't have noties turned on if you're not a subscriber. So do that. Click the notification bell, and then after you select the bell, the default is personalized. Be sure to highlight the all option because if you do personalized, noties get sent at random times. If you do all, you're going to get notified on your smartphone right when we publish a video. So be sure to do that. Subscribe, click the bell icon, and then select all to join the Noti gang. All right, some brutal Flus answers at his presser today. He just had a brutal pivot when he was asked about finishing football games. He did acknowledge that we have to finish, but he also said this as well. He said, at the end of the Carolina game, to seal the deal in that game, there were some good calls and execution. He later said, I pointed to the Washington and Vegas games. We did finish there. We did finish the right way. There's only one problem with that, Matt Eberflus. Those teams stink. Those teams are not competitive. Those teams might all fire their coach. The Raiders already have. The Commanders are going to fire Ron Rivera. There's talk Frank Reich could be fired 1 year into his tenure in Carolina. So to defend yourself when asked about the inability to finish football games when you're up 12 points with 4 minutes to go against Detroit, when you're up 28-7 starting the fourth quarter in Denver, to pivot to when you have finished against garbage football teams, it's just a sign of weakness to me. It doesn't impress me at all. Here's what you answer. You're right. We don't know how to win yet. It's something we're constantly learning on. We have to be better. Like that, it's that easy, but he just refuses to do so, and he points to when they have finished. Well, the only games he's won, a.k.a. finished, again, just to outline, are against non-competitive quarterbacks. Trey Lance last year against the 49ers, who is now a third-string quarterback in Dallas. Davis Mills last year, who is now the Texans' backup. Mac Jones, who might be benched this week. Sam Howell, who has had some good moments, but he was awful this week, and he's been very up and down at best, and that's clearly the best quarterback you've beaten, and there's a very unknown future about him. Brian Hoyer, who should be selling car insurance, and then Bryce Young, who it's just been horrific, if we're being honest, the number one overall pick, and the team around him is bad. So don't talk to me about the times you have finished. It's insulting. It's disgraceful. You have not been good as the head coach. Just own it, man. You've been bad, and you haven't executed when you have to. That's the bottom line. You had a chance to silence some of the doubters yesterday against a good team in Detroit, and you failed to finish again. And what do you do on Monday? Well, we sealed the deal against Carolina. Carolina, they fucking suck. Who cares that you beat Carolina by 3 points at home last week? They're terrible. Come on, man. The guy just lacks awareness. It's so brutal to listen to. Describe Matt Eberflus in one word. How about delusional? How about loser? How about fired? It's not good, man. Describe him in one word. Pin comment on today's video, so if you get hit with that ad break, get those one-word responses in the comment section. Next up here, diving into his presser today. Oh, this is painful too. He was asked about Montez Sweat's usage, who they just traded for, and this is going to be painful for those who haven't seen this yet. The Bears reporter asked this question. We'll get to Flus's answer in a sec. As much as you've invested in Montez Sweat, shouldn't he be out there for more than 39 of 62 snaps? By the way, that's 63% that he played in yesterday's game. For instance, Aiden Hutchinson played 92% of the Lions snaps. Isn't Sweat that kind of player for you? Here's Matt Eberflus. Sweat is one of our best players. He really is. That's just how we do it. We platoon our guys, and we keep him fresh, keep him and them fresh that way. That's how we do it. So let me get this straight. You trade a second-round pick for Montez Sweat, give him a 4-year, $98 million deal, $24.5 million per year, and use him as a rotation player. Got it. Makes sense. Are you joking me? Is this a joke? Like, if you're Ryan Poles, there's no way you're on board with that plan. I'm not saying he's got to be a 90, 95% guy. There's very few defensive linemen who play that many snaps. Hutch is one of them. He plays a good amount. Max Crosby in Vegas. There's a couple others. But he's got to be 80+%, period, especially on this defensive line. You just gave him a $100 million contract. You just invested him. The rest of your D-line stinks for the most part. You're platooning him? I mean, that is an unbelievable answer for Matt Eberflus. Like, if I'm Ryan Poles, I'm like, whoa. I just invested a lot of capital into this guy, and we're platooning him? That's unacceptable. I mean, that alone is worthy of firing Matt Eberflus. I could not believe that answer. Even I couldn't believe it, even though I've listened to Flus talk for the last couple of years. We'll keep this rolling here in just a moment, but do want to take this time to talk about Prize Picks, today's sponsor here on Chicago Bears Now. It is daily fantasy sports made easy. Football season's in full swing, and I've had a blast winning up to 25 times my money on several entries with Prize Picks, and I'm starting to do the same with my basketball picks as well, NBA, college basketball, etc. I'm excited for Monday Night Football tonight as Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts tee it up, Super Bowl rematch. Patrick Mahomes, give me the more than on the passing. I got the more than on Jalen Hurts rushing as well. Going to go less on A.J. Brown. I think the Chiefs coming off a bye week. They're going to have a plan for him. Probably a lot of double teams, so maybe it's a bigger game for Devontae Smith. 10 to win $50. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Our code CLNS. Get your deposit match up to $100. What's cool about Prize Picks as well is they offer a reboot policy. A lot of injuries, especially in the NFL. So your entry stays in place even if one of your players gets injured as long as it's in the first half of a game. So for football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So get started today, prizepicks.com/CLNS, our code CLNS to get that deposit match. Okay, keep it rolling with Matt Eber-flustered. He was asked about basically what they're looking for in Justin Fields, what they talked about, and trying to let him win the game late, which they really did not do. Here's what he said. He said, the last play, which was the 3rd and long after 2 straight runs, he goes, the last play we talked about with the crosser to DJ, and he threw it over the top. That would have been a spectacular play if we connected on that. We were right there. We just got to do a good job of executing in that moment. So here's my problem. Number one, you don't acknowledge at all that, yeah, on 2nd down or 1st down, we probably should have at least given Justin an opportunity there, considering he was our best offensive player. Instead, they handed it off twice. And then number two, you talk about as an organization. This one actually isn't just on Flus. You talk about as an organization, Flus, Getsy, Ryan Poles, they all echoed the sentiment all week long leading up to this game. Report leaks to Ian Rappaport, clearly from Ryan Poles. They want to see him play well and consistent, especially in the key areas, 3rd downs, 2-minute situations. That was clearly a key moment in the game, right? That 3-play sequence, hey, if we get 1 or 2 first downs, we can ice this game. And you gave him 1 play on 3rd and 9. 1. And by the way, he threw a damn good ball, but your rookie wide receiver didn't track the football properly, hesitated, and did not get there. So your 1 play, which is a design crosser to DJ Moore, which, by the way, if you go watch the film on it, he is open, but there's a safety tracking. He's probably going to be tackled 2 or 3 yards short of the sticks. Now, DJ Moore, maybe he makes a miss there. We know he's really good after the catch, but he read it properly. Tyler Scott, free release, had 2 steps on the guy and just didn't track the ball. But you only gave him that 1 play on that 3-play sequence. That is unacceptable. He was your offense yesterday in this one. He was efficient throwing the football. Sure didn't throw for a ton of pass yards, but you have to remember that drive before where they ate off 8.5 minutes off the clock, they were able to just pound and pound and pound where they only threw the ball once or twice there. He only had 23 pass attempts. He ran it 18 times for 104 yards. He had 273 of your 335 yards of offense, and you took the ball out of his goddamn hands. He deserved better yesterday. He deserved to have 2 out of those 3 plays at least be in his hands. You want to run it on 1st down, make him burn a timeout, maybe you bust one, get a free 1st down, or at least 5 or 6 yards to start that drive in a tight situation. Cool, no problem. You can't do it again on 2nd down. That was an obvious passing down on 2nd and 10. You ran it into the teeth of the defense again, which also, too, just X's and O's. Detroit stacked the box there. They were begging you to run the ball, and you did. It's just so stupid. Like, no acknowledgement, and just, again, you talked all week about how important it was for Justin Fields in these key areas to excel. Well, you didn't really give him the opportunity to do that. So, good job once again, Matt, Getsy, everybody else in charge. Such a freaking joke, man. Great Justin Fields game against Detroit. I thought he was good. B+, A-. I mean, it's not the greatest game of all time, but it was more than good enough to win. 273 all-purpose against the top 10 defense on the road in his first game in 35 days. DJ Moore touchdown was sweet. I thought he played well. Let me know what you guys think. All right, back to Flus. You know how coaches do their little statements and then they open it up for questions? Well, part of his statement was this quote, part of this quote right here, part of the learning process. Yes. Here's what Flus had to say. We did a lot of good things. I want to commend those guys for the effort they put out there. Obviously, the last couple of series, offensively and defensively, we have to do a better job of finishing. We took accountability as players and coaches on how we have to finish better. That's a big part of the learning process. Well, here's my question. How long is this learning process? This is year 2. This is 28 games into your coaching tenure. I get last year. I've given last year a pass. You got to a point where it's okay, your GM reset the roster. You've been competitive in a lot of close games against better rosters. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Getting the number 1 pick was important. No problem. But no Bears fan would signed up for 3-8 to start this year. And multiple blown opportunities. Denver, Detroit, just to name a couple. You were in the Saints game. You were in the Tampa game. To lose all 4 of those is ridiculous. And just to look at the resume now, learning process, you're 6-22 overall. You're 0-9 in the division. You've won 0 back-to-back win. You have had 0 occasions of back-to-back wins. 0 wins of plus 500 teams. 0. It's unbelievable. You suffered a 14-game losing streak at one point. He's had plenty of time. I'm not saying this had to be a playoff or bust team, but there's no reason this team isn't at least 5-6 right now. You completely choked against Denver, and you choked yesterday. Period, end of story. Take the other ones out of it. Take the Tampa game out of it. Take the Saints game out of it. Those 2 games, any mediocre coach would have found a way to close, and he could not do it. So you're 3-8 instead of 5-6. If you're 5-6 right now, you're right there in the hunt. You're a game out of a wild card spot with 6 weeks to go. I think we would have all been at least okay with that. But this, though, multiple meltdowns in the 4th, it's unacceptable, man. It's year 2. I'm over it. It's time to end this Matt Eberflus experience. All right, guys, that's it. Matt Eber-flustered. That's where we're at these days. Quite frankly, I'm disappointed in Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, whoever makes these decisions to keep him employed, because he's just so obviously not the answer. I mean, you're not going to win with him. It's so clear. Hit that subscribe button if you agree with me and if you want more Bears content.